My son was 2 years old, and he was bullying someone at school. Not two, he was in grade, I think he was in kindergarten, and I didn't know what to do, so I called Larry, my coach, and I said, this is what's happening with my behavior with Oliver at school, is he's kind of bullying, and he's frustrated, and he was probably feeling the divorce, like he was probably feeling the pull, who knows. And Larry said, let me tell you a story. I was brought to Kenya because he's a principal of international schools. And he said, they asked me to be a shepherd over the school for 1 year, but they said, don't change anything in the school. And he's like, no rules, no principles, nothing. Just watch the school for a year. And he's like, okay. But he got there, and kids were being expelled, and people were being suspended, and kids were being made wrong, and the grades were terrible. And Larry's like, nope. I know I said that, but I have to change one thing. And he invoked a principle where all the kids had to come up with their own consequences when they made a mistake. Mm-hmm. So he gave the kids the responsibility to take full responsibility for their actions. And he turned that school around in 3 months. There was no suspensions, no expulsions. The GPA shot right up. And in 1 year, he transformed every one of those 150 kids' lives through that one thing. Amazing. He took away the resistance, the rebellion. He said, you are responsible for your actions, and you have to come up with your own solution, your consequence for your actions. So he didn't tell me what to do with my son. He just told me that story, and he goes, try it. If it works for you, it'll work for you. If not, there's a good story. He's just a beautiful human being. He taught me how to play volleyball as well. So I took that to my son, and right up, even that young, in kindergarten, grade 1, I said, Oliver, that didn't work, what you're doing. Let's put into place your own solution, your own consequence. And he was young not to understand those words. And even at that age, his consequence was so much harder. He's like, going to bed without supper, and no skateboarding, and you can take away my Legos. And I'm like, oh man, like his consequences are way harder than mine. I was like, let's bring it back. And he's like, okay. And he got so much pleasure and joy out of coming up with his own solution for the thing that wasn't working, that he didn't really want to be bullying. But he didn't know how to create the answer. And through this discovery, through Larry, I learned that tool. And to this day, at 15 years old, if something's not working in his life, I'm like, okay, you get to come up with a way to solve this problem, your own consequence for yourself. And it works like a charm. It inspires him. It inspires him to be a better human being, and to be the kind of person where life works for everyone around him. And it makes him responsible for his actions.